Cheap and warm.
It is a Falls Friday night here, week 11, final week of the regular season. So much to get into. Playoff spots, district titles have been decided. Yeah, it's going to be hard to decide even where to start, where to have playoffs for you come at the end, or playoff scenarios, as many as we can. I'm Jonathan Hull, sports writer, Times Record News. In the middle, there's Nolan Clark. On the right, Zach Duncan, 940 Game Day represented in the middle. Zach Duncan being Red River Roundup. We're gonna hold to we're just gonna have one guest tonight, football, and that's gonna be Mark Bendel. He'll be joining us here in a few minutes. And getting him on the broadcast too. But yeah, guys, right off the bat, immediate reactions, and then I want to thank our sponsors, and then we'll get Coach Bendel. But immediate reactions to tonight from you guys. Zach, go first.
I think the big thing is a lot of blowouts. And I think Memorial pulled away from Legacy second half. That was a close game for a little while. But Petrolia or Windthorst went to Petrolia, and I know Nolan was there, took care of business. Jacksboro ended up winning the district title outright, taking care of business against Holiday. I think that had 100 combined points. Couple little surprises. I didn't see Vernon losing like that, like they did to Peaster. I think that was a surprise. Uh, Burke had a playing game, and Merrill Wells beat them really badly. I was kind of surprised by that final score. Um, a lot of weird things happened tonight, though. We had Taquana losing, and that allowed Clarendon to make the playoffs. One thing it's out of our area, but we've been talking about it all night, was Amarillo, who had to forfeit 6 games this morning. Is now those coaches are driving to Plainview to decide if they're in a coin toss for the playoffs. So just a lot of weird stuff tonight, I feel like. But Graham with a really big win. That was probably the best game of the night, even though none of us saw it. So
Go ahead, Nolan.
No, yeah, I think you hit it on the head pretty well there. I think in my coverage area, I just had one score game. That was Graham Eagle Mountain. I feel like everything was pretty straightforward tonight. Like Zach said, there's a couple kinks that were thrown into playoff scenarios, but we'll work through those here in the next couple hours.
Yeah, I'm going to be working on getting some pairings typed into a graphic so we can share it with you guys in a little while. Um, uh, Seriously, I got home 15 minutes ago. So I'm pretty proud that we've got this thing going already and ready to go. And real quick, let me thank our sponsors right off the bat. Can't do this without them. Start with Arrowhead Roofing, our primary sponsor here for more than 25 years. Arrowhead Roofing has been Texoma's trusted name for roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Local families count on Arrowhead to protect what matters most, their homes. When storms hit or it's time for an upgrade, call the team Texoma has relied on since 1999. Arrowhead Roofing, the exterior experts. And Macaulay Landscapes. For 21 years, Macaulay Landscapes has been keeping Wichita Falls beautiful. Whether it's keeping your yard green and healthy or transforming your outdoor space, Macaulay Landscapes has the experience and care you can count on. Visit MacaulayLandscapes.com to learn more about their full range of services. Macaulay Landscapes, making Wichita Falls look its best since 2003. All right, guys, let's get right to it because I told him about 11:10 we'd get him on, and he's sitting in the backstage ready to do it. And let's talk to the guy, Coach Mark Bendel from
Can y'all hear me?
Memorial. Yes, sir.
Well,
Yes,
thanks for
sir.
having me on. I love that y'all
In the
do this. I
car.
appreciate you guys doing this
Yeah.
and just promoting football in the area. We got a lot of good athletes all over the 940 area and the coverage area. So thanks for having me on and doing this.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you joining us. Sitting out in the truck, it looks like, and
Yeah.
having a good time. Well, a fun one for you tonight. You pick up the win over Legacy, 63-20. Right off the bat, got to say, final score is misleading. That was a much closer game. It snowballed a little bit on Legacy late, but I thought the theme of the game was you have a team, a senior-led team, very strong senior class that knew what to do whenever Legacy kind of threw a haymaker and landed a hard punch. They knew how to fight back.
Yeah. And I think, especially early on in the game, they had a big play for a touchdown. I thought we responded, and then we went 3 and out. And so I thought we responded really well defensively after that, kind of settled the troops. And then we were able to go drive down and score on the next 3 drives, run the football really well. Like we wanted to establish the run and then open things up in the second half, which we were able to do. Give credit to Legacy. A couple times they got one deep play and they were able to put together a drive and score. But each time we responded. That's just we have got a bunch of seniors on the O line, some senior receivers, and then obviously our quarterback Joe Castles, and running back Eric Powell. We really leaned on those guys, and anytime there was a oh crap, oh dear, that we were able to respond and kind of settle the troops. So
Eric is so fun to watch. I grew up watching Barry Sanders, and I love he's my favorite football player ever. Uh, he kind of reminds me of him in a way because he's so shifty, and then you think he's going one way and he spins out. I'm sure you don't get tired of watching him kind of do his thing on a weekly basis.
no, and honestly, sometimes you just call a run play, and honestly, we have no idea where it's going to hit. Right? I mean, it could go. He could bounce it. He could cut it back. Yeah, and he made a play tonight where I think they blitzed the corner and he spun right. I mean, right as he got the ball, he spun and was able to walk in the end zone. And so he's special. I think a special back. I think we have 3 or 4 really good running backs, and but obviously he's been a 4-year varsity guy in the Wichita Falls area, and so um, he put on a show tonight. Our O line did a great job. Uh, Really proud of those guys and the growth that they've had this season, and yeah, it was a good night for us.
Yeah,
Defensive
Coach.
line.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead, Nolan.
no, you're good, Zach. You go ahead.
I was say defensive line. I thought really played well too, and I know you've switched fronts a little bit, but getting a lot of pressure on Knox and throwing them off. I mean, I don't know how many sacks y'all finished with, but it had to be about 7 or 8. To me, it was the running the ball and then the defensive line kind of which won y'all the game.
Yeah, and our defensive line did a great job. Knox is actually he's not a pocket passer. I mean, he's definitely a dual threat guy. He's worked on his speed, he's worked on his athleticism, so he likes to get outside the pocket and really cause problems. I thought we did a great job of at least trying to keep him contained. He got loose a couple of times, but then getting pressure, making things uncomfortable, and then the secondary, there was a lot of times where he was scrambling and we had guys covered up, and so I was really proud of the defense tonight. I mean, gave up 2 big plays and one drive, but other than that, I thought they played well and controlled the game, and I think we forced maybe at least 3 turnovers. That's big. That's anytime we can force turnovers, that's big. And our defense played well. Led by if our defensive line can get pressure like that, just rushing 4, then that's going to help us out.
Yeah, Coach. 2 weeks ago, y'all took a tough loss to Lubbock Cooper, which ultimately decided third in district. Y'all were 1-3. It kind of seemed like the playoff window was getting a little tight there, but your squad has taken care of business the last 2 weeks. How has your team been able to have a short-minded memory and been able to take care of business the last 2 weeks to be able to punch your postseason card tonight?
Yeah, I really feel like the shift started for us after we lost to Palo Duro. We played probably 6 quarters of bad football, where I would say the second half versus Abilene Cooper, and then Palo Duro, which congrats for them. We knew they were going to have a good program this year. They're the district champion, but we did not put up a good product when we played Palo Duro, and we had the bye week right after, and so kind of closing ranks, and we really had to kind of find our identity, who we were on both sides of the ball. I really feel like that was kind of the turning point for our season. And even though we had that, we came up short against Lubbock Cooper, and they outplayed us. I really feel like we responded well and kept fighting versus those guys, and that carried over into the Plainview game and the Legacy game tonight with our backs against the wall. There's no room for error. We had to win those last 2 games to get in the playoffs, and so we kind of talked that we've been in the playoffs since this is week 2 for us in the playoffs. So we're on to round 3, which is about 8 hours away. So
Only 8 hours.
yeah,
Yeah,
only 8 hours.
that's it. I want to talk to you about to stick to tonight, and then I think we can look to the future a little bit and into next week. But um, you've I know every week, other than tonight, you're a Legacy football fan. You're cheering for those
Awesome.
crosstown guys. Um, what have you seen in that team and the growth in their first year? under Coach Davis, and really, I mean, 'cause they put up a fight. They had you on your toes until the fourth quarter.
I think we lost him.
Oh, did we lose? Okay, hang on,
You
I
turn
got
my
him back.
light.
I got him back. There you
There he
go.
is.
Yeah.
Hey,
Sorry.
sorry. Did you hear my question, Coach?
Yeah, uh, I I think, and I said this on a podcast, I think that Coach Davis has done such a great job. Um, you can just tell with the eye test. Obviously, the results are different, but just with the eye test and how the kids play and the product they're putting on the field, that it's a change. It's a different, and it's been very impressive. Um, that's a hard job. The new school thing is hard, and watching them transition from an 0-10 year to the team they are now. I think they're even probably better than their record shows. They're really young, and so they're kind of up and coming, much like Paladuro was a few years ago. And so I think they're on the right track for sure. But you can see a difference with what Coach Davis has done, and um, yeah, I think they'll be a force to reckon with in the future. Um, yeah, but I'm also real proud of our coaching staff. You know, we're this is a brand new program. A lot of time when you open up these new schools, it's kind of rare to have um, some of the success that we've had. We've made the playoffs both years, and I'm just proud of our kids and our coaches, really from both schools. But obviously, love my guys that we were able to go get in the playoffs in back-to-back years, opening up a new school. As much as people want to compare it us to them to Ryder, we're not Ryder. This is Memorial, and it's a brand new school, and so I'm very proud that we were able to, in back-to-back seasons, the first 2 years in existence, go get in the playoffs and start the program off the right way.
I think so. El Paso game started at 8 o'clock, so that's a fun fact. That after the field after the game, the games were still going on that determined who you played. I think y'all are getting El Paso Andrus because both of the Andrus and Chapin won. I think Andrus is going to be the first seed in that three-way tie. So is that right? I mean, have you heard? Have you
Yeah,
talked to anybody?
yeah. If Chapin won, it was going to be Andrus or Chapin, and Andrus won, so it's going to be Andrus. Honestly, while we're on this phone call, uh, the Andrus coach just texted me and said he was the 1 seed. So we'll be playing El Paso Andrus at their place. It's going to be on Friday. We don't know the time yet. It could be uh, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. It could be 5 p.m. Mountain Time, which is obviously plus one for us. So um, anyway, as soon as I know, I'll let y'all. As soon as I know, I'll let y'all know for sure.
Have
Well,
you ever coached a game in Mountain Time before?
Um, that's a great question. We got close. We played in Denver City a couple. We actually played Andrus in Denver City a few years ago, when
mhm.
we were at Ryder, and that was actually a good game. So don't know much about Andrus. I know when we played them last year, they were or not last year. I guess it was in
Two,
2022, maybe.
yeah,
They were
yeah,
very
around there.
they were very physical. Maybe 2021. They were very physical, and gave us all sorts of fits. And so we'll have to, we're gonna have to play well to go beat them. They're a district champion for a reason, and beat some really good teams in Chapin. I know they played Del Valle very close, and so I know how good Del Valle is. So we'll have our hands full. Don't know much about them yet, but they just sent us video they just sent video to trade, so we'll be getting after it. So
I have covered a game in Mountain Time. I've covered a few actually, and it messes with you a little bit. Back in those days, I was actually on deadline, and so, man, deadline's hitting in Central Time, and you're in Mountain Time. It's kind of stressful, but enjoy that trip. I'm curious though. I'll let you. I know you're still kind of working on the schematics and everything of how that is, but how do you address such a long trip with this team? I mean, that like I said, 8 hour drive. How do you break that
yeah.
up, and when are you going down? How do you get prepared throughout
Well,
that process?
yeah, we didn't want to put the cart before the horse. Obviously, we had to win. We had to win tonight to get in the playoffs. However, you can't just wait till Saturday to start planning a trip like this, right? So I had
Yeah,
to work on that this week with Coach Halfley. Um, Essentially, what we're going to do, and this is again why I feel I love our coaching staff and I lean heavily on them. We got 5 or 6 guys that have been head coaches, 4 or 5 others that have been coordinators. So we have a really good staff, and we kind of determined this week that we want to treat it like a college trip, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to leave on Thursday and we're going to drive to Midland, kind of do a walkthrough, have a practice out of Midland, and then drive the rest of the way and get to El Paso Thursday night, and then stay in hotels like they do in college, and then wake up the next day and get ready to go play. So that's our plan. We're going to drive the whole way Thursday, play Friday, and then drive all the way back. And so I'm hoping we're driving back with a gold ball for sure.
No pressure, but a
No pressure.
WFISD team has never lost to a team from El Paso.
Hmm.
Just putting that out there for you.
Yeah, I know that stat because every time we play an El Paso team, you say it. Uh, but this is going to be the toughest challenge for us. We're playing a district champion, going to El Paso. A WFISD team has also never driven and played a game in El
Played in El
Paso, I'm pretty sure.
Paso.
So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a unique experience. Um, how we handle the trip and how we conduct ourselves, and if we handle it well, I think that's going to determine at least part of our success, or not. I think Andrus is going to have a little bit to do with that as well, but that's going to be a big challenge, is that trip. But if you could say, hey, you got to go to, you're guaranteed the playoffs, but you got to go Paso, I'd take it, man. As long as we're in the dance, we got one foot in the door, a chance to go win some trophies, and we'll take it.
Well, Coach, hey, we appreciate you joining us tonight. Great win. I love the atmosphere out there tonight.
Hmm.
It's a lot of fun when that game means something. And I said this during the broadcast on YouTube, and I'm going to say it again right now. For all of those people out there who said nobody will care about this new rivalry, that people won't show up, gosh, you're wrong. You're
Yeah.
so wrong. And that was just a great playoff style atmosphere out there at Joe Golding Field tonight. So again, Coach, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you doing this, and I hope we got a reason to talk next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I'll have plenty of time to talk uh, because we'll be on a bus for about 8 hours on the way back. So,
That's right. That's
but
right.
we'll be in
Well,
mountain time. We'll be in mountain
that's right.
time. So,
That's right. Yeah, yeah. So we'll try to hook up somewhere in between there. So for you, Coach Bendel, thanks a lot, Coach. We'll see you
all
soon.
right. Appreciate y'all. See ya.
All right, Coach Mark Bendel from Memorial on the Macaulay Landscapes Coaches Hotline. Yeah, guys. I've never made the trip to El Paso from Wichita Falls. I've made it from Midland. I've made it from Big Spring earlier in my career, but I don't know, man. That's a long drive. I did go with them, or I did go to that game in Denver City. He mentioned, and I mean that's about as far as away as I can think that a Wichita Falls team has probably ever played a game.
You're
And I mean that
wrong.
was a long trip.
You're wrong on that.
I'm not. Oh, am I? Okay, tell me.
And I'm actually going to research it this week because I want to write about it. Wichita Falls like flipped with Corpus Christi like in the 50s or
Oh,
something, 50s or
okay.
60s, and Joe Golding lost the flip, and they had to go to Corpus Christi, and apparently it was a disaster. Like they tried to stay in Austin and they couldn't find a place. There's a whole story to this because I've stumbled across it, and I'm going to research it and write about it because I gotta think Corpus Christi to Wichita might be longer than El Paso to here. So I don't know. I guess we can Google and fact that check that later. But it's yeah, like they had to go to Corpus Christi, and I think they were the favorite and unbeaten, and they lost, and it was just a horrible, horrible like trip for them. So,
Yeah.
um,
Wow.
yeah. So I'll have more. I really am. I was like, if they play out El Paso, I'm going to write about this. So, I am. Yeah, this week, Ritter Roundup.
Okay.
You'll read about this crazy story. Um, Another thing, real quick. Okay, so we talked about the Memorial game, but we need to talk to Nolan about his game because he went to go see a district championship game, and Windthorst won. I can't remember the score, but it was quite handily.
64-22.
And if Hole will vouch for this, I was like, man, I'm worried about this game kind of getting a little out of hand. I know Petrolia almost beat him last year, but I feel like this Windthorst team is just 30, 40 points better than everyone in their district. And they proved that tonight. What impressed you with the Trojans tonight, Nolan?
Yeah, what impressed me was Windthorst's offense. I mean, they put on an absolute clinic tonight. They got Hunter Anderley. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Anderly.
Anderlee, my bad.
There
Hunter
you go.
Anderlee back at the running back position. He's been injured the last couple weeks, and they absolutely fed him the ball early on. He tallied up 3 touchdowns tonight with 176 yards on the ground. Brock Belcher, another phenomenal game. He had 6 more passing touchdowns tonight, 260 yards to the air. He connected with Jackson Stark for 3 touchdowns, all in the first half. Jackson had 162 yards. I mean, Petrolia just struggled to find answers on defense for what Windthorst was doing. So Windthorst would go into the playoffs with a lot of steam, looking good for Petrolia. They were held to 211 yards on the ground, which is actually really good from the numbers we've seen from both Case and Gee and Brody Jackson. Brody was the leading rusher for the Pirates for 77 yards. But, I mean, to sum it up, man, just Windthorst looked phenomenal on offense tonight.
Another game I think that we were kind of curious about, and I was keeping up with this because I kind of told myself if it was close, I might head on over there, was Holiday Jacksboro.
Mm-hmm.
Jacksboro wins the district title 62-41 outright over Holiday. This game was a little weird because Jacksboro, I was getting updates actually from my mother-in-law who was there. They got up 27-0 mid-second quarter, and Jacksboro was just rolling. And the Holiday, I believe Landon Jones didn't play. Holiday scores right before half to make it 27-8. And next thing you know, it becomes 27-22 early third quarter, mid third quarter. And Jacksboro responded with a couple more touchdowns. Jacksboro's going to finish 6-4 in district at 0-4. I don't know if we really thought that was possible. We knew they played some good teams, but I don't know if we thought like, hey, they're 0-4, but they can run the table. So kudos to Jacksboro Tigers for accomplishing a pretty not I don't want to say it's a turnaround because they were playing some very tough teams, but a strong finish to their year. And man, the way that this bracket sets up, I think they're going to be a favorite here for multiple weeks.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Nolan.
I was going to say another team I wanted to give a shout out to was Chrome. They capped off a perfect regular season. They are the outright district champs. They beat Bonham tonight, 49-0. I know Chrome is a very young football program. Their first season was back in 2012, I believe. When I was in high school, Chrome was going through a really tough, rough patch. They promoted Coach Tabor up to head coach this year from offensive coordinator, and he's done a phenomenal job this year. So shout out to Chrome. They were my only 11-man team that remained perfect all season. So.
Hey, and I saw Alvord, another one of your teams. Alvord, I think, beat Wolf
Mm-hmm.
City very handily tonight. Every game amongst those top teams in that district has been close. So Alvord, your way, gets a district championship as well. How did Cape Town hold? Did we figure out how Cape Town did tonight?
Yeah, that Wakanda North took care of Cape Town there in the rivalry matchup. But man, I'm typing in as you guys are talking. I'm going through. I'm trying to find as many playoff matchups as I can.
Have you seen
I
the
think
Google Doc? I'm updating the Google Doc as we
yeah,
go
yes, I
live.
have. No, I'm looking at both of your Google Docs and
Yeah.
working on
We,
this thing. So
like I'm texting on my Apple Watch while I do this show. We have okay, so first of all, we need to give some more shout outs to teams that finished their season tonight. Seymour, impressive. They haven't won since week 1, and they've had some close games, and we don't have the stats. Seymour comes out with a 56-38 victory over Archer, so they get a district win. I know Coach Rivers feels like they probably could have, won a couple more games in there. They had Electra on the ropes. They were beaten Monday for a lot of that game. But I'm sure he's real happy the way they came out and won that game tonight. Henrietta Millsap was 0-0 at half, and it was 8-8 for a while. And Henrietta comes through, claims a 27-8 win over Millsap. That obviously got them in and they finished in third. Congrats to them. Also, Bowie spoils it for Ponder again. Bowie last year kept Ponder from making the playoffs, and this year they need to beat Iowa Park to keep Ponder from in. So Boyd, who finished in last year in that district, gets in the 4th playoff spot because Bowie beats Iowa Park 34-21. A good way for Raider man to go out. I saw he rushed for a touchdown, threw for 248 yards and another touchdown. Tyler Ritchie had a good game. Gideon Tower for our park, 9 catches, 199 yards. He had a big touchdown catch in that. But that was a game that I thought we were, I was interested in it, obviously. And then we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Northside making the playoffs for the first time since 2013. Beats Perrin-Witt 70-60. That was about the only close 6-man game we had tonight. But we suddenly talked about Graham. Yeah, you were
Yeah.
telling me about it whole. Let's talk about Graham real quick because they were down on most of that second half against Eagle Mountain. That was the game that was going to decide second place behind Brock. It was going to be Brock and then Eagle Mountain Graham finding out. Tell us what happened there. I know you talked to somebody.
Well, yeah, I talked to Coach McChristian about that, and man, my first question, I didn't even really say hello. As soon as he answered the phone, it's like, man, how'd you pull that one out? And he's like, I don't even know. Eagle Mountain gave him all they could handle. He really talked highly of their middle linebacker. Didn't have a name, had a number for him, but their middle linebacker was giving them fits all night, and so they switched their offense. Basically, just spread it out 5 wide and just played some 7-on-7. And that Graham's pretty good 7-on-7, right? Like that year after year, they're at state tournament 7-on-7. So that came in handy tonight. We talk about how 7-on-7 doesn't relate to real football. Well, okay, I'm guilty of saying that. And Graham put it to use tonight and got them back in the game, got them down the field for that game-winning touchdown. Got it down by the goal line, and I think a 2-yard run by Colt Taylor finished it off with about 16 seconds left. And yeah, pull it out, win 20-18, and they did go for 2. I believe, right? Try to get it to 22-18, but yeah. Anyway,
No, they were going for two at
no,
20
they
to
did
16,
twenty to
and it
16.
got
That's right.
returned for 2 points. It was an
Got
interception
returned for
that
2
got
points. That's
returned.
right. Yeah, that's right. So, but yeah, but in either way, yeah, Graham pulls that one out. Eagle Mountain, of course, he said they had about 45 kids on the team, which that's a lot for a 4A D2. And so, yeah, they had a depth advantage. They've had that all year, but Graham able to pull that one out, get the number 2 seed, set up a playoff matchup with Godley. Really one of the more intriguing first round matchups I think we have. That game's going to be in Alito, kind of a long trip for all of us, but I think that could be a really good one, them, Graham and Godley.
Yeah, that we're waiting for Alito to decide when they want to play their home game, and then that'll be the uh, opposite of that. So let's talk some playoff. Let's talk some playoff pairings. So we have Memorial El Paso Andrus, and sounds like that's going to be Friday in the Mountain Time Zone. Graham Godley's going to be in Alito. Vernon ended up losing badly to Peaster tonight. I'm not sure quite what happened, but they're going to play Clyde, who finished second in that district. I was kind of told 7 p.m. Friday, Jacksboro. I think that's pretty official. I don't know if it's official yet. All of the 3A Division II playoff games are set. Like we've heard from all those coaches. I just got City View confirmed. What's interesting is we thought Brady would finish in the top 2, but I guess the way that they broke the tie, Early's the district champ. It's a 3-way tie, and I guess Early's the 1 seed, and then Clifton ended up getting the 2 seed. They beat Brady tonight 7-6. So Jacksboro's going to play Toller. That's first 1v4, 7 p.m. Thursday in Springtown. And the other 3 games are going to be Friday. You got Seaview Brady playing 7 p.m. Friday at Abilene Wiley. Brady's kind of pretty far south of there, so Abilene Wiley's, I guess, about as neutral as you can get. Henrietta Clifton, 7 p.m. Friday in Weatherford. And then Holiday Early, 7 p.m. Friday in Clyde. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think our district stacks up pretty well against them. I know Holiday is going in on a 3-game losing streak, but I think if they can get some guys healthy, I think that's a winnable game for them. I'm very interested in that district. In our 2A Division II district, Windthorst ended up beating Clarendon. We thought they'd get Shamrock, maybe even Quanah, but Clarendon beat Quanah tonight and was able to get the 4 seed. So you got Windthorst, Clarendon. We don't have an update on that yet. Petrolia, Quanah is going to be sometime next week. I don't think we have an update on that. And then uh Electra Wheeler, 7 p.m. Thursday in Childress.
Okay, I'm
So
downloading a couple of graphics. I'm going to get up on the screen here for a minute for our viewers, and they'll be able to kind of see these firsthand. as opposed to
I,
just hearing
I
them.
know I'm just throwing out word vomit basically, but
Yes, right, yeah,
we're getting these as they come in hot off the, I'd say, presses, but there's no presses.
yes, yeah. Like
What game? And then so we don't know some of the times or anything, but what game kind of intrigues y'all the most here? There's a few out there that I'm kind of interested in. What game intrigues y'all the most?
For me, I think Godley and Graham. Obviously, we've been kind of talking that this past week. Vernon matching up with Clyde. That's two really good teams. That's going to be a really good team going home during by district. I'm going down the list here. Sorry, I've been typing as we've been doing this. Tioga and De Leon, I hope I'm saying that one right too. De Leon played Munster back in non-district. They were state ranked. Pigskin Prep, for some reason, really likes Tioga. There was this three-way tie for second place by my numbers, by the point differential. If that's the way that the district goes, Tioga got the 4 seed, so they should be matched up with De Leon there in by district. I think that's going to be a really good by district show matchup. We saw Hamlin play Albany for the district championship tonight and lost. So Hamlin gets matched up with Lindsay, who was once state ranked. We have Quantum Petrolia, that's 940 showdown right there. Electra Wheelers, a rematch from last year. I know we saw a comment in the comments. North side, if I'm correct, should be playing Turkey Valley first round. Aspermont will be taking on Benjamin down in the Division II level. Saw this on Instagram earlier ago. Goldberg and Strong will play Friday, 7 p.m. in Bryson. And Woodson should, I don't know how to pronounce that town. I'm not even going to try. So, is it Fanadel?
Annandale.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
We should yeah, I think that Vernon Clyde game could be sneaky good. I kind of thought Vernon would be a definite favorite in that, and they still may be. But after Clyde played Jim Ned real close and Vernon didn't play well tonight, I'm kind of curious just how the teams are going into that one. Petrolia Quanta's a rematch from earlier in the year, and Petrolia won, I think, by about 20 or so. But yeah, that's our one lone all area game. Um, I think Brady's pretty good, but they fell to the third seed and they're going to get City View. I think so. That's going to be a tough game, I think, for Brady to hang in against City View. Speaking of City View, they won tonight, but and it's not trying to be a negative, but Valley View scored like 13 points. So Valley View entered tonight only scoring the sixth, and I think they scored once in the first quarter. So even though Valley View finishes the 0-10 season, they get they scored twice as many touchdowns as they had all year. So that's an interesting fun fact. Um, I really wish we could get like a live feed of this coin toss that's going on in Plainview. I don't know where we're at in that, but the sheer fact that uh Amarillo, think about the day they've had. They had to forfeit 6 games this morning. Then they had to get it together and play their rival, and beat their rival very handily. Like that wasn't even close, and that kind of surprised me. But they obviously were dialed in, and then they're rooting for Lubbock High to basically beat Lubbock Coronado, which would normally never happen, but this year it happened because Coronado's down, and I think Lubbock High won 42-35. So now though that you get after you win the game, you forfeit. Now you got to get in a car and drive to Plainview from Amarillo. Um, like there's a great behind the scenes story, like on a day in the life of the Amarillo coaching staff today. So.
Yeah, no, there's no
Um,
doubt. And those coin tosses are they can be nerve wracking. And it's the 3-way coin toss, correct?
yeah, because Amarillo, Caprock, and Lubbock High are involved, and Amarillo High
Yeah.
beat both of those teams very badly during the season, but they had to take at least one of those forfeits.
And
So
so typically in those 3-way coin toss, if you've seen Friday Night Lights, which of course captures probably the most infamous, or I guess you could call it famous as well, coin toss in high school, Texas high school football history, but it's the odd man out.
yeah,
But of course, they're playing for one. Now they're going for one spot. So I
yeah,
wonder how they're doing this. If it's the odd person, if two of them are tails and one's heads, it's one heads. getting that spot. I'm just curious on even how that's going to work out and how that is decided. So, man, I hope I hope one reporter at least went down there and
Oh, Lance is down there.
Lance
I've
did
been
go.
this
Lance Liner
Lance
went.
Leinert's like driving down right now. So I was trying to get him to go. Like, you got to go to this, and I think Lee Passmore may be going too. I don't know if anyone from Lubbock was going, but Lance said he's in his car driving down now. So I
Yeah,
hope to
no,
see video. Amarillo had a forfeit a game. They won 79-6, and they
yeah,
had a forfeit. They had a forfeit a game to Lubbock that they won 58-13. So because of that 58-13 forfeit, they're having to do a coin toss. So. Back to our area. Um, any other thoughts? I mean, I don't know if we probably need to wrap this up soon. But any other thoughts on tonight? Not a lot of surprises again, but
not a lot
that
of
kind of happens
surprises. You
sometimes.
know, I do want to say, and I'm sure we did earlier. I was consumed with trying to put together these graphics real quick to kind of give our viewers something to look at here as far as like what we're looking at from a playoff schedule. But I really, you know, what Bowie did, the way Bowie was able to close out their season. We know a lot of us, I think all three of us thought Bowie might be a playoff team in that district, and they really competed and didn't have that at the end. So happy for them to close out with that win. You know, I look at the matchups, and like you say, I think Vernon's a very Vernon Clyde's a very interesting matchup, 6-man, and I don't know that it's necessarily a good game, but you're looking at Benjamin versus Aspermont. That's two top 10 teams in the state right now. I do think Benjamin probably wins that going away. But I mean, still, you're talking about, again, two top 10 teams in the state playing in the first round. That happens, you know, and 6-man where you still only have two teams making it from the postseason each year. You know, I think next week, from a coverage standpoint, definitely looking, you know, Petrolia Quana is going to make sense because it's going to be somewhere around here. Kind of had that circled for a while. And
They were talking about Holiday, but I don't know if it's for sure. And my Apple Watch died, so I can't text Coach Blassingame
all
until
right.
we get off this thing. But yeah, that should be, if it's not I mean, it's gonna be somewhere in this area for sure. So Iowa
Yeah.
Park, Holiday, wherever. It didn't sound like Memorial was gonna have any games. I checked with them tonight while I was there. No games at Memorial Stadium this week, but next week is usually when an Amarillo High or a Tascosa or someone ends up there. So.
You know, I'm looking at that Munster district and how quality and how good that district was, and so I think a 4 seed like a Santo going up against Albany. I want to see how does that district actually match up? Where are they at from a standpoint where Albany's a measuring stick in this region still, and has to be taken seriously.
And Windthorst, I think Nolan mentioned the Hamlin Lindsay game next week. Windthorst gets the winner of that, and right away that round two for Windthorst.
Yeah.
Windthorst should be Lindsay. It was a really good game last year that Windthorst kind of came back and won at the end, and I think it should be another good game week 2 of the playoffs. But we got to get there first.
Yeah, we get through week 1, and I think I speak for all of us. I mean, this is something we're going to be working on, getting up early and probably staying up late a little bit to try to figure out these playoff pairings. We want to know the schedule. We want to know the brackets. You're going to want to be on 940 game day because Nolan's already got his graphics kind of laid out with the matchups, and you'll be able to see the playoff paths clear across. For well, I mean, he covers almost the entire state as it is, and so but we'll have plenty of them here for the area. That
I'm just
greater
waiting on Cape
area.
Town Memorial to tell me where they're playing
Yeah,
next week, and it'll be
Yeah.
posted. So
yeah, we got to figure out what's going on in South Africa, that district. But but yeah, no, good stuff. I think we've made it right here. Here we are, playoffs. This is man, it's felt like playoffs. The last couple of weeks, it definitely had a playoff atmosphere out at Memorial Stadium tonight, and ready to keep it going. Right, this kind of re-energizes you, right? Like for me anyway, you get to this point, and it's like, okay, let's get that second win, that third win, whatever it takes nowadays, because this job can be. It is. I mean, I think you agree. It's a grind, and we get to this point. This is where we're really enjoying it. This is the point of the job that man, it gets a lot of fun. These games get really good, and hey, win or go home. Let's do it. All right.
Yep.
Anything to add, guys?
Nope, I agree. It's always the flash with us part of the season. So
Yeah.
we're here.
All right. Well, thank y'all for joining us again. We put this one together really fast. I'm tell you what, man, I started working on this show less than an hour ago, and here we are wrapping it up. So, hey, thanks for joining us. Hey, listen, this isn't stopping. We'll be here every Friday during the playoffs, no matter where we are. We're going to be traveling a little more. May see some broadcasting from some Waterburgers and stuff like that, trying to find some good Wi-Fi. But we're going to keep this thing going throughout the playoffs, hopefully all the way through the state title games. And and hey, realignment then in a couple months after that. So thank you for joining us here on Falls Friday Night. For Zach Duncan, Nolan Clark, I'm Jonathan Hull. We'll see you next week. Tonight's broadcast of Falls Friday Night was brought to you by Arrowhead Roofing. For more than 25 years, Arrowhead Roofing has been Texoma's trusted name for roofing, siding, gutters, and more. When storms hit or it's time for an upgrade, call the team Texoma has relied on since 1999. Arrowhead Roofing, the exterior experts. And Macaulay Landscapes. For 21 years, Macaulay Landscapes has been keeping Wichita Falls beautiful. Visit MacaulayLandscapes.com to learn more about their full range of services. Macaulay Landscapes, making Wichita Falls look its best since 2003. That wraps up another edition of Falls Friday Night. Every score, every story, every Friday.